How do I know whether it's recording or not? Oh, it is. Okay, so this is the Kubernetes SIG storage volume populators weekly meeting. Main thing I have on the agenda today is talking about the new repos that were created. So 2 weeks ago, I sent out the request for 2 new repos and you guys approved them. Thank you. They were created and I moved all of the code from the old PRs into these repos, and we can actually look at them, I think. Let's see if I can get the links open. Uh-oh, what happened? Oh, there we go. Okay, so yeah, the data source validator, all of this code was in a PR against external provisioner, so I sort of had to untangle it. I had to create some new boilerplate stuff, like my own copy of release tools. I had to rename some things and move some stuff around, but this is a fully working repo with just a couple of commits in it. This one has unit tests, or at least a decent number of unit tests, but we don't have any kind of like change control on it. So like I don't know how to make the unit test run, for example, if someone pushes a PR. So there's that repo level stuff that needs to be figured out. You know, that we have the code here, but we don't have any kind of change control or automated testing set up on the repo. The other one, this lib volume populator, this one is a sort of a refactoring of my hello populator repo to focus on being a library first and having the hello populator just be an example in the library. This one is also pretty much a cut and paste job. There's no release tools in here because it's a library, and I don't know how you do releases of libraries, to be honest, because there's no artifacts that get produced.
Oh, hold on a second. How did you get those changes in without PRs? You directly write it?
I have commit access to these, so I just push to master.
I thought we suppose still should go through the reviews. I normally you just directly check it in your code.
Yeah, so like these are the kinds of things I wanted to talk through and figure out, because I do want to get this code reviewed, and I want to get change control set up so that tests have to run and people have to press approve and all of those things. But these 2 repos as they stand, I'm on the ACL list. I don't know where the ACL list is maintained, to be honest. Maybe it's this owner's file.
Yeah, you are, but still, it normally should not be checking code like this. Normally, still should be go through like the PR.
Yeah.
And have someone else.
I agree,
prove it.
But there's always going to be a period with a new repo where you have to bootstrap it, right, and get stuff into the repo.
Even that, I think when we're working on volume snapshot in the beginning, it was like a huge PR. Still went through the reviews actually.
Okay. Okay. Well,
but if you already have something, maybe yeah, we can maybe if you have any further changes, maybe we should just go through.
Well, we should review what's here. I mean, I don't want anything to escape review, obviously. So I mean, we can always go back and look at like the commits. So there's 3 commits in this library. 2 of them were by the infra guys, and this one's from me. So you can look at the commit, and you can see all the changes. It's I'd say the vast majority of it is, actually no, there's no auto-generated code in here, is there? So everything in here is if I look through this. Why are these not showing up? Oh, the go.sum file is always a pile of garbage. Controller, this is all the code I wrote. Yeah, everything in here except for go.sum, I guess, is code that I wrote. So it's an 1800 line change, should be reviewed. And yeah, so I don't know how we can do a review, but if people want to send comments and say like, this is bad, we need to change this, so we can turn that into a PR and go fix it in a proper PR. But
yeah, maybe like, just take a look at it and create issues if needed.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the right process is when we're bootstrapping a new repo. Yeah, we want to.
Yeah, like for both like Woolen Snapshot and the Woolen House, we all went through the review. Basically, it's all submitted
Yeah.
through a huge, I know it's big, huge PRs.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay if it's already there, so we can just look at the existing code. But for any
mean-
further changes, I think we should go through.
We could undo it. Like I
No,
can.
no, it's okay. It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah, I was gonna say like because I have push access, I can remove this commit from master and change it into a PR, and we can review it and then merge it. But yeah, it's been in here for a while. So the main things I want to do is I want to figure out how to make it like run the tests, because this one does not have unit tests yet. That's something I need to do. It has, the example off here in this example directory. This is structured very much like there was another example that I copied to develop this, but I can't remember which one I was copying. Oh, I think I was copying the storage library that's in Kubernetes SIG's storage, the one that's used heavily by the external provisioner repo. There's a gigantic library there that I basically modeled this after. So, the example, everything is in Populator machinery controller.go. So you can just, include this in whatever project you want to have for your Populator. And you'll get the library, and then the example is an example of how to do it. And then there's not much else here. We just need the automated tests and then machinery, so that when PRs get submitted, we can run some sort of a test job that will, make sure that there's no regressions. So that we got to figure out how to do that for this library. And then for this one, we have the artifact creation, and with the make file, it'll spit out containers and stuff. But it also doesn't have any kind of audit. It has the unit tests checked in, but no way to run them. And again, I don't know how to trigger that. So if there's an example of sort of how you set up CI jobs for repos, I need to follow that, and I'm happy to do that. And then we also need to review this one. So in this one, I think if we look at the commits, there's 3 commits. One of the commits was just a automatic one that was the importing of the release tools. Actually, 2 of them were importing of release tools. So the documentation for release tools said to run a command, and I ran it, and it produced these 2 commits. And then this top commit is the one that actually contains all the code. So in here, it's a 3,500 lines, but a lot of this is auto-generated, I believe, because it's all the volume populator CRD has a huge amount of boilerplate code that gets generated. And then the controller itself is rather small.
So for the tests, I sent you a link in the chat. Basically, there's ways to create new proud jobs, and you can go ahead and add a new proud job for this.
Okay. Oh man, what did I just do? Oh, okay. I'm just gonna copy paste it because I don't know why it won't open up in the browser. Okay, so I need to be pushing a commit to this repo test or Kubernetes
Right.
test infra.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I will check this out and figure out this and get these going. So who would like to sign up to be my reviewer for one or both of these repos? If I could get a name of someone, then I could follow up and make sure that it's been reviewed and any issues that are found are filed so I can address them.
I think both Shing and I can sign
You
up for
both?
that.
Okay, that would be great. So yeah, if you could just look at those commits then, and I guess create an issue with any problems you find, then I'll make a PR that addresses the issue, and we can get it all squared away and merged and committed.
Sounds good.
So then the next order of business after we have CI working and stuff reviewed is doing an alpha release. What are the mechanics of doing a release?
Oh, you want to release this? Well,
Well, the goal is that in the 121 timeframe to do alpha releases out of both of these repos, so that someone who wanted to play with them would have an officially released version to start from, and then going into 122, we would be moving from alpha to beta. So we want to have a stake in the ground that says we've reached alpha by actually doing a release.
There is a doc actually. There's a doc on how to do a release. It's under, where is it? I can find that. Maybe
Okay.
it's probably under, maybe it's under release tools.
So at a very high level, I think we need to figure out the versioning. If we're going to follow Semver and do major minor patch, I think that seems reasonable. Every time you cut a minor release, recommendation would be to first branch the master branch and create, for example, the release -0.1 branch.
Okay.
And then if you have any changes that are made to the master between that when the branch is cut and when you're actually going to cut the release, make sure they're cherry picked to the release branch. And then normally we try to do a RC release before we do an official release. You can figure out if that's something you want to do. Regardless of whether it's an RC build or not, you can just cut it off the release branch.
So Saad, you make it sound like there's a choice to be made. Is there not an official versioning scheme that's followed across all of Kubernetes?
No, every project decides its own kind of how it's going to release and what the process is.
Okay. Okay.
But that's generally the model we've been following. And so we tried to do an RC cut off of the release branch, get input from folks for a few days, 2 to 3 days. If there's anything that needs to be fixed, always have the fixes go into master first, cherry pick them to the release branch. And then whenever you're ready, go ahead and cut the official final release.
And we call them release branches, not stable branches.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, because
normally,
if there was a situation where we wanted to, after we did a release, to put a bug fix on top of that release, so like if you had like a 1.0 and then you shipped and it released, and then you're working on 1.1, but you find a bug fix and you want to backport it to 1.0.
Yeah, so the way that would work is when you cut your 1.0, you would have a release -10 branch.
Yeah.
When you cut your 1.1, you would have a release -1.1 branch. If there was a bug fix that needed to go into both, any change first goes to master.
Right.
And then you would cherry pick it to both 1.1 branch and the 1.0 branch. And then you can go ahead and cut a patch release off of 1.0, so you get 1.0.1.
Okay,
and then same thing for 1.1.1.
So the release branches are functionally like stable branches.
Yeah, it is actually the same as
you can have multiple
branch.
releases out of a release line.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
You can have, it's basically the release branches are minor version branches, and then you can have multiple patch versions come out of it.
Right. Okay. I've seen that many other places, so that makes perfect sense to me. All right. So I guess
added a link there for this process for releasing sidecars, but it's the same for any repo under Kubernetes CSI. It's in the chat.
Yeah, thank you. I see it.
And I think for this Kubernetes CSI, they put together a release tools repository, which has a bunch of kind of nice tooling, which makes the process easier. If you want to use that, they use, I think, the git subtree command to automatically pull that repo into your repo.
That's what I did here in the volume data
okay.
source validator. So as you can see here, I have release tools.
Oh, perfect.
Yep. I ran the command, but weirdly enough, like when I ran these commands, I got something that was way too new and it doesn't work. And so I had to copy paste some changes from the older branches into my commit to basically rewind it back in time to a point when it still worked.
Okay.
So I try to follow that process. I'll read this doc and see what it says here, because yeah, I was trying to do the right thing, but it appears that there's just some bleeding edge stuff going on with that release tools repo.
Yeah, maybe the
Or like-
release tools repo should have releases as well.
Yes, there was something about proud jobs, and it was really, it was trying to like create directories in the root of my file system and getting permission errors when I ran make, and I was like, this is not good. The make files creating directories in my file system root. So I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go back to something that actually works. And
Yeah,
I
the main purpose of that release tools is just to add automation around the whole release process. So like for one repo, it's not a big deal to do it manually, but I think they have 5 or
Yeah.
6 sidecars that they have to release for, and it becomes a absolute hassle to manage all of them. So they created this.
yeah. Okay, so I will read both of these and follow up with you guys if I have any questions. And it sounds like both of you guys are signed up to review these repos, so I'll wait for feedback on there. And when is the actual timeline for Kubernetes 121 to go out?
Thursday.
Yeah, I think it's
Thursday.
this week.
Okay,
April
yeah.
7.
So we don't have to, I guess, adhere to that too closely for doing the alpha release because it's just an alpha release. But I don't want to be too far into the 122 cycle before we get the alpha releases out.
Yep, that makes sense.
So yeah, maybe if you could review this before the next one of these meetings.
Sounds
be in
good.
good shape. But yeah. I see we have Kirk and Elliot also joined. Are there any questions about where we're at, what we're doing, what the plan is from anyone? Because oh, actually I can just copy paste the links you guys sent me here into the agenda, so they'll be preserved for anyone to come find these. Yeah, that'll be useful. Okay, then I guess we're done. Those were the AIs that I just covered for myself and for you guys.
Cool. All right, take care.
Thank you.
Thank